All right, TTC, what's up? It's Nick. Here to go over my overall grades for this draft before I go work out. Um, Overall, I give this draft an A minus. Our first pick was Kenny Clark, defensive tackle out of UCLA. Now, I really wanted Reggie Ragland because we needed an inside linebacker that could be a tackling machine. And I thought we were going to get him. I really did. He was right there in our hands. But we didn't take him. We took Kenny Clark. But then I found out that Reggie Ragland has heart problems, and that can be a potential issue. For sure. But Kenny Clark, I thought he was very underrated during this draft process. I did think that he had a very good bull rush, probably among one of the best bull rushes in this whole entire draft. So I give the pick a solid A minus. Good job, Ted. I really, really, really loved our second round pick. I've been high on this guy since early in the draft process. Jason Spriggs, offensive tackle out of Indiana, my school. And I give it an A because Jason Spriggs, probably one of the most athletic tackles in this draft. He used to play tight end in high school, which says a lot. Jason Spriggs, in my opinion, is a beast. I think he'll be good for depth right now, and he'll be good for the future because we do have some contract years coming up for our offensive line. We have Sitton and Lang, I believe, on contract years. We also have David Bakhtiari in a contract year. And I think that we're going to pay Sitton and Lang. So I think David Bakhtiari would be the odd man out, and Jason Spriggs would be his replacement. So I give that an A. Good thinking of the future and good thinking about depth. Because if Bulaga and Bakhtiari go down this year, I don't want Lane Taylor seeing that field ever. I hate Lane Taylor. He's the worst. Next, we have Kyler Fackrell, outside linebacker out of Utah State. I gave that one an A as well. Do you know why? Because Nick Perry cannot stay healthy. We signed Nick Perry to a one-year deal, a one-year prove-it deal, and I don't think he's going to live up to that prove-it deal. So I think he's going to be gone next year. And Kyler Fackrell has a really good explosion off the edge, which would be great with Clay on the other side. So that pass rush is going to be deadly in future. Now, here's where I think we took a little bit of a step back, and that was at the beginning of the fourth round where we had two picks. Our first pick, I wasn't so high on. Blake Martinez. Now, don't get me wrong, played at Stanford, so he's a smart guy. And he's a classic inside linebacker, but he misses a lot of tackles against the run. But one thing that I will say, and I gave Blake Martinez a C+. And the reason why I put a plus there is because I think he can be good in coverage. One thing that the Packers struggled with at the inside linebacker position was covering tight ends. So I feel like covering the tight end is important, and I feel like Blake Martinez can do that. Jake Ryan couldn't do that. We don't know if Barrington could do that last year because he got hurt early. So we'll see what happens there. Then I think we went a little bit better getting Dean Lowry, defensive end out of Northwestern, because Dayton Jones, our first round pick from a few years ago, has not panned out as a defensive end. I think Dean Lowry was a good value in the fourth round, and I really like this pick. I think that it will add to our pass rush and hopefully against the run as well. So I gave that one a B. Trevor Davis, wide receiver out of California. I think he can make the team, but I don't think he's going to see a lot of the field on offense. I think he's going to be a special teams return man. He has the speed for it, but And it's not a downing his talent as a wide receiver. It's just because we're really stacked at wide receiver. We got Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb. We have Ty Montgomery, and I'm not going to say Devontae Adams because he was garbage last year. So he has to prove it to me before I say his name among that list of elites. We have Jeff Janis and Jared Abbrederis, who both stood out in that playoff loss against Arizona. So it's not a matter of the lack of talent that Trevor Davis has. It's just that we have so many at that position. But if there's one thing we really need, it's a good return man. Micah Hyde, to me, isn't really that good of a return man. And Ty Montgomery, I think he wants to focus more on offense. So I like this pick. I give it a B+. And Kyle Murphy, our last pick in the 6th round, offensive tackle out of Stanford. Again, smart guy, played at Stanford. I gave this pick a B+ because it's, again, good investment for the future and also for depth. I really think that one issue that we had was offensive line depth. And I feel like Ted really addressed that this year. One thing I want to say, though, is that Ted Thompson went after a lot of Pac-12 teams, like a lot of Pac-12 talent, mainly UCLA, Cal, and Stanford. So he got some Big Ten boys, too, in Jason Spriggs and Dean Lowry. And also Mountain West Conference and Kyler Fackrell. No SEC talent on here, which I don't mind really, because sometimes SEC players don't pan out in the NFL. Sometimes. I'm not saying always. But I really would have liked to have gotten Reggie Ragland in the first round, but I understand why Ted didn't want to take the risk with the heart problems. So anyways, overall, I give this draft an A-. Good job, Ted Thompson. I'm ready for this season to start. Maybe I'll do a Google Hangout where we all discuss our draft picks. Maybe even talk about our unsigned free agents if we do enough research on that. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to go work out now. And go, Pack, go.